and welcome to your weekly current affairs program, 60 Minutes Nigeria. My name is Egosa Agbolao. It promises to be another exciting time on television. We'll be discussing national issues. But I must tell you that there is an issue or a topic right now on the lips of almost every Nigerian. So many people are talking about it. Tongues are wagging. And it has to do with the death of a very popular gospel musician, Osinachi, known for who gained prominence with that Ekweme hit track, beautiful song, and so many people are still talking. But that has actually removed the lid on a can of worms. So many issues have cropped up because of the death of Osinachi. We're not really going to concentrate on that, but we're going to look at the broader perspective. The First Lady of Edo State, the wife of the Governor of Edo State, Mrs. Betsy Obaseki, has been spearheading the fight against gender-based violence. And she also informed journalists that other governors' wives have also supported that move. And they are using their offices to influence probably policy against gender-based violence. It's not welcome at all. So we're going to be looking at that issue, gender-based violence in Nigeria. And after that, we'll be looking at something that is political, which has been a topic we have been following. Curbing insecurity and the 2023 polls. We'll be looking at politics in that. I have very distinguished personalities with me today. A legal practitioner, highly respected, and he's also a clergyman. Talking about Barrister Pastor Jim Osagede. Nice to have you with us today.
Thank you very much, sir.
Okay. I have with us a man that does not play with the abuse of human rights. He's an ambassador of peace, and so he's with us today, Ambassador Dr. Amos Arelogbe. Nice to have you with us today.
God bless you for coming.
Okay, so like I said, we are looking at gender-based violence. Now let's start with what is gender-based violence. Now, dictionary definition of gender-based violence is violence directed against a person because of that person's gender, or violence that affects persons of a particular gender disproportionately. Now that's the definition of gender-based violence. Now, the social media is awash with so many video clips of gender-based violence. And we're going to be airing one as part of our attempt to drive home our points today. Now, we are not revealing the identity of the persons involved, but it's just to let you know that, yes, gender-based violence is with us. Very, very unbecoming, very terrible. Like I said, the death of a popular gospel musician, Osinachi, actually made tongues to wag. So many people are still talking about the death of that young woman, a promising woman that would have offered this country a lot, but she's been cut short. Whether is the rumors making it round that probably she died from physical injuries or physical assault, we don't really know. We must wait for police investigations for us to really conclude on how she died. The federal government is interested in that case. So we don't know whether it's the husband. We are not taking sides. There's also the other side that, oh, she died from e-health. We are not taking sides. We are not believing anything now until police investigations are concluded and made public, then we can know what happened. But that does not take away the fact that so many women are enduring hardship either in their homes, in their marriages, and now we also understand that some men too are being assaulted by women. That some women are into martial arts, some are weightlifters, and so they beat up their husbands too. My guests could not help me but to laugh. Gentlemen, that's what happens.
Yes, true.
So women they are into karate, into judo, into wrestling, you know, and they beat up their husbands too. But let's just start with Barrister Jim Osagede. Now, this gender-based violence, what is your take on it?
Thank you very much.
Okay.
You know, it's unacceptable.
Yes.
However, we need to correct a misconception.
Yes.
You know, when we talk about gender-based violence, we tend to look at the female folk as the only or main victim.
Yes.
That is not true.
Okay.
Even though they suffer more.
Yes.
Just like you just mentioned, you know, a short while ago, there are some women who also beat up their husbands. You know, those husbands, you know, because of pride, they don't speak out. You know, so it's a comic relief.
Yes.
For a man to cry out that my wife is beating me, you know?
I can't help it to that to laugh, because I know that when we're growing up in Benin you know, parents will not encourage you to fight, but if they won't go back to your father and say that your neighbor again beat you up, how are you going to say it? Rather, you will be beaten too. For people coming to say a girl, you know, assaulted you.
But I would say
Yes.
that I believe very strongly that
Yes.
it's animalistic.
Okay.
It's barbaric. It's totally unacceptable. Personally, if I have my way, some
Yes.
people I'll send them to the zoo.
Okay.
They don't deserve to live in a civilized society.
Okay.
I cannot imagine a man, for instance,
Yes.
having gone on your knees, you have done all you needed to do to get a wife, and then you turn her to a concubine. It's not acceptable. And in most cases, the women don't speak out on time. They endure for so long. Sometimes they don't even speak out until their neighbors or their parents observe the scars on their face and they start to say, oh, this was inflicted by my husband. But just like you said at the opening stage of this program today, I want to appreciate people like the wife of the executive governor of Edo State, Mrs. Bessie Obaseki, FIDA, who have taken up a lot of these cases pro bono without charging the victim. You know, another non-governmental organizations who have helped to champion the need for stringent laws that will deal with all these issues that are, you know, gender-based.
Yes.
I remember that in 2015, there was an act of the National Assembly that was enacted, the Violence Against Persons Act. It was signed into law by Jonathan.
Yes.
And Edo State, in 2019, domesticated that law.
Yes.
And in 2021, it was reviewed to make it more encompassing.
Yes.
So the law you have in Edo State, you know, Edo State happened to be one of the 18 states that have domesticated the Violence Against Persons Act.
Yes.
Many other states are still reluctant, but because of you know, the caliber of persons that championed the cause here, you know, it was able. I mean, that act.
That bill,
it has been domesticated in Edo State. So Edo State, we have Violence Against Persons Law of Edo State 2021.
Okay.
That law is not talking about violence against women alone.
No.
That law is talking about violence against anybody, male or female, in public or in private.
Okay.
But when you look at the sections of the law and the way they have expanded the scope of the law that talks about violence, you understand that the primary target of the law is the protection of the female folk. For example, if you are a man, you assault, like we saw in some scripts. If you are a man, you assault your wife, you risk 3 years jail term. So if you are a woman, I speak to every woman today. If you are a woman, your husband is beating you for no just cause. Even if it's there's a just cause. Your husband cannot beat you.
Yes.
You know, I can probably say I've been married for many years. If I tell you how long I've been married, you'll be surprised.
Yes.
You know, my first child is 35 years old. All these years, I've never raised up my hand against my wife. Why? Because I know that I cannot condescend to become an animal. So it's because those animals in the zoo are not able to control their instinct that they are in the zoo. Those who are able to control their instinct, we domesticate them at home as pets.
Yes.
So any man who is not able to control his instinct, he should exchange it with the animal in the zoo. You know, they're going further.
Yes.
The law also talks about the fact that if you rape a woman,
yes,
you also stand to go to jail. And that jail term is life imprisonment.
Even if she's your wife?
Well, it's something about even if she's
just
your wife.
rape outside the home now.
But the law itself, that one is another dimension. But the law itself says rape. But if you prove rape against your husband, would the law, frown at it? The law will take its course. For instance, I'm not talking about rape.
Yes.
If your husband rapes you. Okay, let me give you a scenario. If a woman is critically ill and the husband cannot control his urge and still want to sleep with the wife, is that decent? That is indecent.
Morally, it's indecent.
Morally, it's indecent. Legally, it's rape. It's indecent. Anyway, what we are talking
but that's another angle. We are talking about young girls now just going away. A girl just, before you know, a man just bounce on her and molest her.
That man is going to spend the rest of his life in prison. Thank God we have a lot of NGOs. In MBA beneath here, we have Federation of International Lawyers Association, FIDA. They are so active. If you report any case, they will do pro bono for you. Okay. And they have got a lot of conviction. A lot of for this atrocity, we need to stop it. You remember the case of Weiler? A brilliant student of Uniben or holidays, because of all this strike, the house was not conducive, goes to the church to read, and somebody went there to rape her and also kill her.
Yeah, brutally murdered.
Yeah, so if you catch that kind of person, if that kind of person is arrested and is proven, it's going to be multiple charges. You are going to charge for rape, you are going to charge for assault, and so on and so forth.
Yes.
One good aspect of the Violence Against Persons law in Edo State is that there is now provision for, compensation.
Okay.
You understand? If your husband beats you up and it makes you become a monster, no man wants to talk to you again, you can ask for restitution. So the man is no more at liberty to turn the wife into a punching bag. Yes. And then the law also talks about the fact that if you sodomize, it's not just about penetration alone. Yes. In the criminal code, rape is defined as penetration. Even if you strip the woman naked, if there's no penetration, it's not rape. But in the new law, if you attempt to rape, it's an offense. If you penetrate, it's an offense. If you did not penetrate the vagina, I'm sorry,
yes.
I don't want to be vulgar.
No, please.
If you do not, if you did not penetrate the private part, and you do oral, you penetrate the mouth, it's rape. If you procure person to sodomize, instead of doing the natural thing, you are going through the bag, you are committing rape. So Edo State government have done a beautiful job. I give kudos to the parliament. That is why we always say that anybody who is going to be a member of the House of Assembly should be articulate. The members of the House of Assembly, I think it is the 6th Assembly, they did a beautiful job to that bill that became a law. So in the whole federation, only 18 states have domesticated, and Edo State is in the forefront.
You just brought something I like. The truth is, anybody that must be a member of the Edo State House of Assembly must be articulate, must be able to fight for the people, must understand the goings on. It's not a jamboree.
Yes.
Most like what the Edo State House of Assembly has done now with this violence against persons. I think it's a commendable one. So that's a very good point that you just brought in.
Sorry, sir. Let me just say, even there's provision for, if you do female genital mutilation, what they call a circumcision.
Yes.
There's also penalty. There are so many things that. So I believe that the female folk, I'm not saying that they should go and buy the law and now be taunting the husband if you do this.
I understand.
But once you are maltreated, walk into a law office and complain. Don't let the man kill you. In fact, it's not acceptable. It's better to live a life, for instance, if you live a life and you live the rest part of your life as a single woman, it's better than to be a wife that was killed by the husband.
Okay. I'm going to come back to you because you are in double capacity. Apart from being a legal luminary, you're also a clergyman. So I'm going to ask you something from the clergy perspective, but that will be after Ambassador Dr. Amos Adolugbe will give us his opening remarks. What's your take on this gender-based violence?
Thank you very much.
Okay.
In my own analysis, like what I have about 9 types of violence and abuse, if I'll be permitted. Number 1 is physical violence.
Okay.
Number 2 is psychological violence. Number 3 is verbal abuse. Number 4 is sexual violence. And we have spiritual violence. We have financial abuse. We have neglect. We have cultural violence. And we have emotional violence. Now, let me take it one after the other. When we talk about physical violence, this is when a part of your body, maybe you step on somebody, person's actions, and you you violated that person's physically, whether through punching or whatever it is. And again, number 2 is psychological violence. Talk about when you make someone to a threat and causes fear on that individual. You get to gain control over that person. If you talk, I will kill you. If you do something, things you don't, keep quiet, don't do this, and you create fear in that person. It's psychological violence. Then we talk about verbal abuse. People talk. If you do this, I'll do this, I'll do this to you. Language, when you talk, spoken word or written, you also cause a violence too. Then sexual violence. We talk about when a person is forcefully, that's what we was talking about,
yes.
we talk rape. Forcefully, unwillingly take part in sexual activities. Then we talk about spiritual violence or religious. We talk about when someone uses individual spiritual belief to manipulate or dominate or control that person.
I was just coming to that. You have to expatiate on that one.
Yeah, of course.
Because that aspect is a very big problem.
Yes.
We've heard of so-called pastors, so-called clerics, manipulating even married women and taking advantage of them sexually and otherwise.
They face the law.
So you need to expatiate on that.
We'll come to that. Then we'll talk about financial violence. That is the abuse of someone, controlled individuals' financial resources without the person's consent or misuse of those resources. That's another one. Then we'll talk about emotional violence. Also occurs when someone says or does something to make a person feel stupid or worthless. Then you have cultural violence also again. You see, this occurs when individual is harmed, and as a result of practices that are part of her or his cultural, religion, or tradition. They tell you, don't do this. Our religion does not allow this. When you are being hurting.
Yes.
You get me now? These are cultural violence. Then neglect also. The last one I talked about, it occurs when someone's responsibility to provide care or assistance for an individual but does not do that at all. You just let the person to be.
Yeah.
See, all these things, when you sum it all together, it talks about violence.
It's terrible.
Now, we're talking about some people, both men and women, that are both involved.
Yes.
Now,
assault.
Yes, when we talk about that spiritual violence, violence we're talking about.
Yes.
Now, I come to you, as a pastor, I'll tell you, look, bear with a man. It's for better, for worse. When you are there, don't complain. Be there until you do one's part. Let me tell you, that is false. I'm also a pastor. I want to tell you this. Even when people come to, I'm a marriage counselor,
yes,
relationship expert.
Yes.
When they come to me, there was a case that some people came to me, I won't mention names.
Yes.
They came to me and said, look at what we are passing through. I want to divorce my husband. And I asked her, come with your husband. What's the matter? This and that and that. I said, I know that man wants settlement. What happened? She now narrated all her ordeal to me.
Yes.
And I said, okay, is that all? Please, can you give me just a chance to your man? I called him. Why all this? The man opened up to me. He said, look, my dear, sir, please. I love my wife. But what she's doing to me hurts me more. You get me now? But I don't know who to cry to. I was shocked. I said, you mean that? Any small thing, you tell me, man. I said, okay, don't worry. You love your wife. He said, yes. You want to go? He said, I don't want to lose my wife. I said, okay, don't worry. I know what to do. And I called the woman in. I said, look, madam. And I asked the man I said, look, do you still want this, your marriage? Do you still want your husband? He said, until he said his attitude, if not, I'm fed up. I've had it up to this neck. I said, look, madam, it is not better outside. Except you are telling me that he beats you, he does all sorts of things to you. Does he do that? He said, no, that's okay. Now, I've given you people 3 months. The way you started, at least before you approach a woman,
yes,
you must buy suya. When the woman is eating suya, you are eating the onions. You get me now? Where is the love you first possess?
Yes.
I find it strange for a man to start laying hands on a woman you said, I love you at first.
Yes.
Before you were going
to... Love goes far.
But something was responsible for it.
Yes.
Somebody was telling me the other time, he said, look, you see women, the way they talk. I said, no, women are made to talk. Men are meant to do the action. As a man, you have to endure because both of you came from 2 different homes.
Exactly.
Now, the case of the Sinachi now, we're talking about now. Now, you see the children of that late woman or the man now, he has now built 3 monsters. If those children are not taken care of psychologically, because that's what they meant to believe that my father said, if you beat a woman, that's when the woman will respect you, that's when the woman will love you. No! It's a false. That's why I said, when a man beats a woman, that clause, for better or for worse, has been broken. If you lay your hands on a woman, because the Bible says, the woman is yourself, is you two become one.
Yeah.
So how dare you lay your hands on a woman? Now, for example, I give this example. If you are a uniform person, or you are in the office, you have a woman as your boss. The way your wife is talking to you, that's the way your boss is in the office talking to you. Will you lay your hands on your boss?
No.
If you try, you know you are finished.
Yes.
If you can tolerate your boss, why can't you tolerate your wife? That's when most of them are getting it wrong. You say, I'm going to show I'm the man of the... You are not a man. You are not a man. A man protects his wife. A man protects his love from outsiders. You get me now?
Yeah.
But if you stand, oh, I am man, you cannot fight your fellow men outside. It's only your wife you now do punching back. I will show you today. No.
Okay. Dr. Amos will come back, but let me get the thought of Barrister Jim, who is also a clergyman, he's also a pastor. Now, if a woman comes to you and says, he's being assaulted by her husband, and the Bible, according to some scriptures, says, except for infidelity, you should not leave there should be no divorce. How would you counsel such a woman?
You know, marriage is more complex than the word itself.
Yes.
To marriage.
Yes.
A lot of people are living together, even though they have been wedded in church or they have been to the registry. They are living like strangers. You know, the most important thing to understand in the marriage is that 2 imperfect people. That's how my bishop described it. I'm a marriage counselor.
Okay.
I believe that I've wedded more than 26 couples in my career as a pastor.
That's great.
In my local chapter,
yes,
I counsel people a lot.
Okay.
Even older couples.
Okay.
You know, it takes 2 to have a successful marriage.
Okay.
Not 1.
Yes.
Both of you must understand each other. If your husband is white, you should be the opposite. If your wife is white, you should be the opposite.
Okay.
But right now, the prevailing circumstances, they are, if you look at the Bible very well, if you want to understand the Bible, you have to understand the history of the people that influenced most of the statements made by
the apostles.
The apostles and the disciples of Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
You know, in the old time, divorce was unheard of. That is why when they were told that you cannot divorce your wife, they didn't actually take it. When they saw Jesus Christ, they also asked Jesus Christ, Matthew, that look at what our earlier teacher have said, that we should not divorce our wife, or what do we do, what is the offense, and the rest of them. And you are saying that we should not divorce, but he says that if the woman commits adultery, you can divorce. Then Jesus Christ replied, say, because of the hardness of your heart, because it's like you are worried the man too much. Don't want to kill him with all these questions. That's why he says that, okay, if the woman commits adultery. Now, the phrase for better for worse does not include beating, does not include sodomy, it does not include maltreating your wife. For better for worse means if the goings are right, you are still husband and wife. If your family economy is so bad that you are now on austerity measure, you are still husband and wife. If your wife is sick, you still love her. That is the meaning of for better, for worse.
Yes.
It does, for the biblical definition of better for worse does not include the man beating you
at all.
It does not include the man turning you to
a punching bag.
You know, for me, I blend law with the principles of the Bible. Before I accept to do a divorce matter for you, I must have come to a conclusion that it's better for you to leave that marriage so that you will not die.
Mm-hmm.
But even the law itself says that before you take, even the law itself says that before you take a matter to court, asking the court to dissolve a marriage, you must make an attempt as a lawyer to settle the husband and wife. That's
really?
Why, yes. That's why when you file, a
divorce case,
a petition for divorce, you must include a certificate of reconciliation. That you even explain to the man and the husband that there's need for them to reconcile, that you tried but haven't failed. You have to bring the matter to court for the solution.
Oh, this is illuminating.
Yeah, so you cannot say that because you have been joined together in the church, for better, for worse, and then the man has beaten you, and now when you got married, you had two eyes, now you have one eye, and no pastor will tell you that you should remain so that you will take the other eye.
Some pastors will tell you to remain.
No, it's
wrong.
It's a matter of enlightenment.
Yes.
You know why I was telling you just that you must understand the history of the people in a particular era when the Bible was written. Do you know why Jonah refused to go to Nineveh and went to the opposite side, went to Tarshish, when God said to go and preach there? Do you know? If you look at the history of the people, when Jonah was growing up as a little child, he saw the way the people of Nineveh were maltreating his people. So when he became a pastor, that day was seeing his heart. He didn't want to go and preach to them. So most of these things, they are influenced, by the culture of the people. So our culture today, our socioeconomic situation today, does not fit exactly into the era when the Bible was written. You understand?
Yes.
So now you have working class women. Mm-hmm. Now you have women who earn more than their husband. Mm-hmm. Now you have women who are concerned about the way they look. Now you give a slide. The woman is having a red eye, and you say that it's for better, for worse.
Yes.
So if the woman cannot bear it anymore, let the woman go to feeder. Let the woman cry out, and they will implement, the violence against person's law.
Against the husband.
Is not qualified to be a husband.
Okay, thank you, Barrister. We'll come back to you, but I must say that we'll be taking a break shortly, and that will enable us to introduce our third guest. But before we do that, don't forget that we are looking at gender-based violence, and we are also going to look at curbing insecurity if time allows us to do that. But I must say that my guests have posited that it is better as a woman to be alive instead of dying in silence, that you must cry out. If you have been abused by your husband, you must cry out. And we've also seen that in some cases, though rare, some women, some wives beat up their husbands. So if as a man, you're on the receiving end, you should cry out. Don't say, it's very humiliating for you to say that your wife is giving you some kind of torture, or your wife, is able to beat you in your house, and you don't want to cry out. I heard of a case of a medical doctor, I won't mention names, a petite medical doctor. Now, what I meant by that is small size man in terms of physical structure, and the woman very huge, that the woman will, any slight provocation, the woman will beat up her husband, just throw the husband down and sit on her husband, sit on him and beat him up. I heard of that in this town, in Benin City, Edo State. Now, if you are such a man, you are being dealt with by your wife, please, please, please cry out. Our legal practitioner has told us, go to the NBA house in the GRA, and the Edo State government, through the First Lady, has also made provision for you. There are centers you can go to. So either a man or a woman, please. So we're going to introduce our next guest, and he's an excellent analyst, a lecturer, Dr. Maxwell Osagi will be joining us after this break. Okay, it's always a delight to have you back on the program. It is 60 Minutes Nigeria, and we are glad that you are spending your time with us on the show. My name is Ego Sagmalao. Just joining us is Dr. Maxwell Osage. Nice to have you with us today. I know that your fans have not seen you for a very long time. Yeah. So we're going to start with you now because my other guests have made their position on gender-based violence is a very disturbing trend in Nigeria. The death of a popular musician, Osinachi, actually brought up the issue again, and so many people have been talking about it, but there are other issues in different homes about violence against persons. What's your take?
It's a disturbing issue.
Yes.
I think the reason why we are discussing it now is as a result of having a notable person being abused in such order. And even when they try to deny it, and thank God that the first son has also established the fact that what the twin sister said is actually fact, that the father has been abusing the mother. And when you look at the woman, people say she's more than 42 by appearance. You do not expect someone that is being abused physically, emotionally, and otherwise not to be old as you see. However, putting this whole thing into proper perspective, vis-a-vis getting the needed attribute that everyone has to kind of hold on to, we should know that I really do not know why some men will think that you have to start with your wife. For crying out loud, we have Attorney Joshua. We have Mayweather. We have
These are boxers. Yes.
If you think
boxing champions.
If you think you have power, why not just call them and let them face a match for you?
Yes.
What is this issue of you raising up your hand to slap your wife or to even hit her or punch her, turn her to as if? I really don't know. Why did you even go into the marriage?
But don't you think some women,
I know where you are going. Naturally, we know that women are designed for certain things. You and I know that women, when you do certain things, the only way they express themselves, because they know that they can actually not fight you, they say everything out. And when you see a woman exploding, saying everything, it's not by punching you can actually resolve that issue or slapping. And for crying out loud, I've been married for some years now, and I ask myself, I don't know, maybe I don't know, I don't want to use my marriage to classify other marriages, but I also believe that is the standard that I've set thus far that has helped me. I cannot just wake up tomorrow because my wife has told me several things that is uncalled for. Then at the end of the day, I will just say, okay, let me. This thing does happen because you cannot have two persons staying together without
talking.
Without friction. In some ways. But the maturity in you is that it's not by beating the woman that you will get the desired result. Okay, what are you trying to prove? What are you trying to achieve? Now, I always ask myself.
The man is trying to prove that he's the man of the house.
No,
he's in charge.
I said this
the man is trying to prove that he's in charge.
I said this thing before.
Yes.
If a father has to start telling the child or the husband, don't you know I'm your husband? There's already a problem.
That's true.
Because the woman knows that you are the husband. The child knows that you are the father. So when you start proving that, there is already a foundational problem. I think going back to the drawing board, I have to speak to the lady. I don't even know why the ladies think that. In as much as I don't want to resort to you using evil to pay evil. If any man decide to slap you, if you have bottle there, break it to his head.
No,
I don't want to poison.
That's not accepted. That's not accepted. Maxwell, I'm coming. Maxwell, now.
We coming to I have 3 girls.
Yes.
Now, see, where I came from, I belong to a church.
Yes.
And we, in the tenet of faith, what we believe in, we don't believe in divorce, but we believe in separation. Now, if you are, I have 3 girls.
So the woman can separate instead of fighting.
Whether the bishop, if a man decide to lay hands on my daughter, leave it.
The man will know something is coming.
The world will revolve around that person. You see, tried
Yeah,
many of them.
we must commend my guests. They are actually against men who abuse or who molest their wives. In other words, they are supporting the women folk. And I think my guests deserve to be applauded. Wherever you are, women, you must begin to clap for my guests because they are supporting all the women folk right now. And you can see how emotional Dr. Sage is that a man should not raise his hand against his wife. That's the point he's making. But it's not for the woman to retaliate. My guests have said, well, you can separate.
She can defend herself.
No, you can defend yourself, but you don't need to pick up a bottle and hit the man. Because we've seen women who have stabbed their husbands to death.
Yes.
No, we
So
don't want that.
we don't want that.
Mr. You know where it starts from?
Okay.
Through dating. When a man hits you, you say he will change.
Yeah, he will change.
He will change.
Thank you.
I can bear it. Some of them, after the man hitting the woman, will go and buy her expensive things.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, the devil came upon me.
Yeah.
I am sorry. The woman say,
What kind of story
okay.
is that?
When you go to your friend and say, look, oh, he hit me. Say, oh, sorry, leave. You say, no, I cannot leave. He will soon change. You are praying for him a monster to change. It is wrong.
Well, you cannot change the relationship. You cannot change the man.
At all.
And the rate our men
Yes.
are abusing their wives, their girlfriends, or women generally.
Yes.
I strongly recommend that when this law is being reviewed, any man that wants to get married, with due respect, because this is very worrisome, that man should go for psychiatric evaluation. Because it looks like some mad people are getting married.
Yeah.
And when a madman has a wife at home, you know, he can do anything.
Yeah, I agree
because
with you.
it is grossly abnormal for a man to become so animalistic, to beat your wife to a pulp, sometimes stab the woman, kill the woman, a woman that, you know, that you pay dowry, that you sign the dotted line that you are now, you know, is terrible. So the harsher the response of the law, the better the society will be.
Thank you, sir.
That is for those who will cry out.
Yeah.
For those who will cry out.
Yeah,
they should.
This is the issue.
Okay.
This is the issue. To me, I really do not know what the women are looking into. Is it two things I can easily say?
Yes.
Now you are telling someone that you love the guy, so as a result, hey, you should keep it, he will change. No man changes. See, I'm telling you, I'm a man. The character you knew the man for on the first time,
Yes.
in that relationship, he will not change. So it's better you give up and just move
There
on.
are exceptions, please. There are some that will change.
Don't
Don't generalize it. There are some people, you see, every man has somebody he respects.
Yeah.
Everyone has somebody he fears. Now, if a friend, you say, look, oh, three of us are friends now. And if I'm misbehaving, maybe my wife will come and say, look, oh, talk to my husband.
That's when the wife raises up issues. There are some women that
Then-
are like this one.
then
The
by the-
pastor said he knew nothing.
No, I think the word change probably will not be appropriate because
Yes.
change means
Yeah.
you know, completely different.
Different.
I think it's a modification.
Yes.
You know, what a man is at the point of marriage can be modified
A bit,
you
not
know,
to say
you
he
know,
will
so that
change.
it's going to change completely.
Man is the one.
Because a man that is, you know, is showing those animal instinct will also show it at courtship.
Yes.
You understand?
Yes.
But when he's married, this thing tends to come up. But maturity, modification
Controls him.
can control it.
Yes.
It's not. It's when the man cannot control. Honestly speaking, now we are talking with due respect. We are talking as if the women are angels. They are not. You know, if you are,
I said it earlier.
no,
Woman is
but
not
as a
angel.
man, there are certain things your wife will do that you will even regret that you got married.
Yes.
Ability to bear it is what makes you a man.
Tolerance.
That's the
That's the
maturity.
tolerance comes into play.
So
Yes.
if you cannot bear it, then you are now.
Okay,
You are not
now Sagi, I'm going to ask you this question.
Yes, sir.
Now, what's the way out now? How do we stop this gender-based violence?
Thank you. Well, if you follow the trend,
Yes.
you discover that there is too many people going out of marriages in recent times,
yes.
celebrity,
Okay.
little thing. In as much as I don't want to subscribe to that, but however, the way forward is this. We are not a banana republic.
Okay.
Where a man will just beat up somebody, there is no law to checkmate somebody.
There is.
Now, I believe we are not a banana republic. There are laws. Now, in a case where someone will have to be asking you, let's go and find evidence, when you have the child testifying against the father that this thing happened, and you are still saying, okay, let's find out evidence. No,
that is
say such person. I think this government that we are in right now, because there's many violences that we are not seeing everywhere and everything, has never been like this. I've asked one question: is it that we have been cursed in this country? No, because let's be real, because nothing is working. A few days ago, 99 person killed. Nothing is like the killing and the abuse on human life has become a norm.
Yeah, human life has become very cheap.
Yeah, very cheap, that everybody cannot play with. Why would this same man kill his wife when the government is killing everybody every day?
No, the government is not killing anybody.
Take it or you leave it.
No,
because the primary purpose of the
anybody.
government is to protect life and property.
You know,
now, for every life that you are seeing by the printed media and the audio media, etc., are they no lives? Are they goods? They are human life. So, way forward is the let government wake up to their responsibility. Every law, there are agencies that are meant to curb this kind of situation. There are agencies. So they should take the law, implement the law, and let us also hear from the media that this person has been punished. See, sir, take it or you leave it. If I see that man, people have raised some emotional issues. People have raised some emotional issues that, oh, the children will suffer. Forget it. That man has inculcated into wrong values.
Yes,
first of all, in a bad country, you will separate the children from the man. Are you getting it? So they should just leave the emotional aspect of it. Let the law take its course in full way. And at the end of the day, I want to beg our ladies. Please, I do not believe that men can always beat you. You can beat a man. You can beat a man. Don't always just the weak spirit in you every day and everything. You can defend yourself, and if it gets too much, 1, 2. If it happens the second time, cry out, because the third time will not be funny.
Okay, okay. Ambassador, what is the way out of this gender-based violence? Because I'm really becoming emotional.
See, there are ways you can go about it. Number one, just like us, what we are saying, speak out. If you don't speak out, nobody will hear your voice. Because whenever somebody is abusing you, whether emotionally, mind you, emotionally, because once a man abuses man physically, it goes down to it affects the woman emotionally.
But you know, sometimes they'll tell the woman, no, you have a son, now you have a child.
That is where we are getting it wrong.
That should be dealt with.
You get me now?
Thank you.
That's where we are getting it wrong. That is where we are getting it wrong. Don't patronize emotions. Oh, because if I leave now, who will take care of my children?
So who is taking care of the children now?
Okay, well, look at what we are talking. So that's why I said, whatever it is, cry out. If you, some of you will say, tell your pastor if you are a Christian, or tell your, whatever. First of all, I will tell you, look for somebody. If he does not change, just like what they're saying, if he does not change, if he did it the first time, no changes, no repentance in him, he's trying the second time, my dear, walk out. And again, we're always be saying, when you walk out of a relationship, does not mean it's a divorce at fourth stage.
Okay.
You get me now? When you walk out, take it. Even leave the children with him, because the man will always say, leave my children for me. It is when he cannot take it, okay, I want my children. Then when you now leave, make sure you register or report that incident in the nearest authority, either police station or DSS, whatever it is. Speak out. So that by the time it happens again,
there's a reference point.
There's a reference point.
No, you can even go to court for, you call it judicial separation.
You get me now? So if the man now comes to his senses, oh my dear, I'm really sorry. That's why I said some people do change. Because the way they were brought up, I said, look, these are two people who came from two different homes. I told you there was a relationship I was counseling. The woman said, if a man does not beat me, I feel I'm not loved.
Yeah, there are some people like
I wanted to bring up.
You get me now?
Hey, brados.
You get me? No, there are people like that because they believe that was how they were brought up. If a man beats you, that's where.
And the man is functionally educated.
And the man pleading with her.
Yes.
Feeling to her.
Buying things, buying you.
Yes.
That's like what you said before. You know, probably that child grew up in a home.
In a home. Okay. You get
now, Pastor Jim, what's the way out of this gender-based violence?
Well, you know, the way out is multifaceted.
Okay.
Number one, the woman should make attempt to defend herself. Because the way you see some of these men, some of the videos that we see, the woman is just behaving like a vegetable. Just put your hand. The man is kicking
No,
you.
the man has the muscles.
No,
the man has the muscles.
One of David and Goliath. See, you try to defend yourself.
Yes.
That's number one. Number two, cry out. Let the people know, that your husband is a tyrant.
Yes.
He's abusing you, wants to kill you. Then, at the third point, that is number three, climbing the pyramid of solution now, report to any law firm. The Edo State government, for instance, they has a committee that looks into all these domestic gender violence issues. Go and make your report. Report to the police before they will kill you. If you don't report to police, you are in trouble. Because there is adequate provision in the violence against persons law.
Okay. Now, I'm going to interject, Barrister, so I'll quickly just make a point. Time is not no longer available for us to conclude everything we needed to talk about. Now, don't you look at the economic aspects of this problem? Most times, the husband or the man of the house is the breadwinner. The woman is always at the receiving end. Okay, they say no time, but a quick one. Don't you think women should learn to be self-reliant? They should work so that they can earn money too.
Yeah, yes, some of the men who complain that their wives are doing nothing are the same men who did not allow their wife to go and do something out of jealousy. Do you know that it is an offense in law for you to prevent your wife from any income when she has the capacity to do so?
Okay.
And then when you come up at night, you are not saying that your wife is
a housewife.
If you quantify what she does in the house, it's more than your salary.
Thank you. Time is not afraid. I want to thank Dr. Maso Saye for your comments. You were very vibrant. You joined us. I want to thank Ambassador Dr. Amos Arologbe. Thank you very much. I believe that my viewers have been cancelled. And of course, Barrister Pastor Jim Osagede have been able to also not only reveal the aspect of the law, but to also counsel married couples on how to deal with this problem. Okay, so it's not a topic we can finish in one day, but I believe you've gotten a lot from it. My name is Ego Sagbula. I do have a wonderful Easter celebration.